In fifth-dimensional creation, the process is not about physically going somewhere to obtain what you desire. Instead, it involves combining a clear intention, coherent thoughts, and a harmonious brainwave pattern with a focused emotional state. When these elements align, your thoughts become electric, and a magnetic field forms around you. This magnetic center transforms into energy that carries your intention, effectively broadcasting a new signature into the quantum field. In this state of understanding the mechanics of fifth-dimensional creation, you no longer need to physically travel to acquire your desires. Instead, you bring the experience to you by collapsing space and time. You become a vortex, drawing experiences to yourself when there is a vibrational match between your energy and the potential existing in the quantum field. By repeatedly revisiting this energetic signature every day, opportunities such as new jobs, houses, or relationships find you because you are the attracting force. When you're truly immersed in the creative process, creation means transcending the sense of self. You become devoid of identity, space, and time, transforming into pure consciousness. This elegant state of generous presence opens up all possibilities within the quantum field, and our brain and body align with the present moment. However, reaching this state requires effort and dedication. Most people primarily engage in three-dimensional creation, where they attempt to manipulate matter with matter. For instance, seeking a good job involves submitting numerous applications, attending multiple interviews, and waiting for months to secure a position, which might not even be fulfilling. Similarly, finding a partner or making life changes involves investing time and effort, following a linear progression through space. In this three-dimensional reality, time is an essential factor as we move matter through space to manifest our desires. For instance, purchasing a house often involves a 30-year mortgage that takes considerable time to pay off. When you guide people to shift their focus away from physical matter, objects and particles, and instead direct their attention to sensing energy and space, a remarkable transformation occurs. As they open their awareness, their brainwaves transition from beta to alpha state. But not just any alpha state, it becomes a highly coherent and organized pattern. In this state, the once imaginary world starts to feel more tangible and real. Normally, when you are stressed and attempting to control various aspects of life or experiences, your attention jumps from one thing to another. Each of these objects or experiences has a specific neural network assigned to it in your brain. However, as you learn to open your focus and your brain adjusts to this new state, different compartments of the brain begin to synchronize and unify. This synchronization enhances the connections within the brain, making information processing more effective. Numerous measurements have been taken, confirming this phenomenon. It demonstrates that when your brain is in a state of coherence, your overall mental state becomes coherent as well. On the contrary, when the brain experiences incoherence, your mental state reflects the same lack of harmony. During our work or a retreat, a significant moment typically occurs around the third day. At this point, we observe large areas of the brain synchronizing together, creating a sense of unity. Communication between the left and right sides of the brain increases, and the front part of the brain connects with the back, leading to a state of whole brain coherence. This transformation becomes evident as we interact with individuals, and tears of joy often stream down their faces. They experience a profound feeling of completeness, making the concept of desire seemingly irrelevant. The magic of this experience unfolds in such moments. While monitoring someone's brain through a strip chart, we witness these patterns emerging suddenly, followed by a brief pause. It indicates that the person is receiving downloads or insights from a higher source beyond their ordinary senses. The nervous system plays a crucial role in this process, acting as a superconductor of consciousness. In the third dimension, consciousness comes into existence, embarking on its journey towards awakening or self-realization. In the realm of 3D, human consciousness is primarily focused on its physical existence, often disconnected from its spiritual essence. The journey of transcending the third dimension and ascending to higher states of consciousness is what we typically recognize as spiritual transcendence. During this process, we rise above the physical aspects and become aware of the non-material aspects of our being. The fifth dimension marks the entry point into the higher spiritual dimensions, leading us back to the source. It exists as a plane of consciousness, a perceived reality, a range of frequencies, and a state of being. Resonating at a higher frequency than the third dimension, where most of humanity perceives reality, the fifth dimension offers a new level of awareness. In the third dimension, our reality is often distorted, causing us to feel separated from the unified field of consciousness. Fear, separation, and scarcity are illusory experiences that appear real in this dimension. Consequently, reactive emotions like anger, sadness, and other low-frequency feelings are prevalent responses to life circumstances. Planet Earth, a conscious and evolving entity, is currently undergoing a transition into the frequencies of the fifth dimension through its ascension. This transition is not limited to Earth alone. It is also accessible to all human beings residing on the planet. Consequently, the socio-political systems operating based on the values of the third dimension are losing their hold and popularity. What once appeared to be functional and reasonable to the masses is now recognized as flawed, unjust, and inadequate in serving the well-being of humanity. While an increasing number of individuals have gained access to the fifth dimension, the majority of people still find themselves existing somewhere between the third and fifth dimensions. Sometimes they experience moments of bliss, compassion, generosity, and forgiveness towards themselves and others. However, at other times, they become trapped in emotions of fear, sadness, anger, and blame. For the majority of people, the transition from 3D to 5D is not a straightforward process. It is more of a fluctuating state of being. At times, we might catch a glimpse or experience a taste of the 5D frequencies, emotions, thoughts, and actions, only to lose them again. When we lose access to these higher dimensional aspects and revert to familiar frequencies, emotions, thoughts, and actions of 3D consciousness, it signifies a return to the 3D state. Now, let's examine the fourth dimension, which operates akin to an elevator, capable of elevating or descending our consciousness. The fourth dimension is intertwined with thoughts and emotions, providing access to either the fifth dimension or taking us back to the third dimension. To access the fourth dimension, a clear thought combined with a strong emotion serves as the key. When the mind envisions a clear thought, often generating an emotion, we enter the frequency of the fourth dimension through the gateway of the heart. When a thought carries negativity and leads to a low-frequency emotion like fear or anger, we find ourselves descending into the 3D state. Conversely, if the thought is positive and generates a high-frequency emotion like joy or gratitude, we elevate to the 5D state. The fourth dimension grants us the gift of choice, and in this dimension, we have the opportunity to exercise choice in the moment we imagine a thought and experience its associated emotions. In the realm of 4D consciousness, as we become aware that we hold the power to choose our thoughts, we realize that we can opt for any other thoughts instead. This newfound awareness allows us to take the higher ground and practice the metaphorical elevator ride. When we encounter situations that trigger us, which often occurs in our day-to-day encounters, we have a chance to implement this choice. If someone upsets us, we can observe the emotional trigger and make an effort to shift our interpretation of the situation, person, or encounter to something positive and empowering. Although it may require some focus, and even initially involve faking it to some extent, we need not worry. After all, our reality is essentially an illusion, and in this illusion, we can choose to create an experience that feels good rather than one that feels negative. Once you shift your attention away from a negative thought and redirect it towards an empowering interpretation of the situation or person you encountered, you'll notice a distinct change in your emotional response. This conscious emotional shift acts like a transformative force, turning the downward-going elevator, triggered by negativity, into an upward-going elevator that elevates your emotional frequencies. The more you nourish these higher emotional frequencies, the more grounded you'll become in them. This transformation is achievable through ongoing practice. Here's a simple approach to practice this technique. Identify the trigger that elicits a negative response. Choose a high-frequency response instead of automatically reacting negatively. Embrace and experience the positive shift in your emotional state. If you find the idea of experiencing life through the lens of 5D intriguing, start incorporating this practice into your life today. Like any other skill, mastering this technique requires determination and a commitment to continuous practice.